Hello friends, it's Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and this is Throwback Thursday. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. This is not technically a throwback. I wanted to introduce you to some fun mixed media techniques that I used to make this darling little tag. This was for my friend Annette Green, who has just launched her very first collection with Elizabeth Craft Designs. And some of you may have seen on my blog yesterday, she invited me to be part of her design team, which I'm thrilled about. Annette and I were on the Graphic 45 team together, and then we were Graphic 45 special project designers together, and we spent time together at Creativation in Arizona back in 2018, and I just fell in love with Annette, and we've been fast friends ever since. So when she invited me to join her team, I gave it a hearty yes. I want to just go over making this little mixed media tag with you and show you the materials that I've used from Annette's supplies. And we're going to use different things today. We're not going to do the bird. I'm going to save that for another time. But today we're going to make this adorable button flower. And we're going to use the mixed media techniques on the back. This is just a little one that I made from scraps. We're going to make, I think we're going to make a card, but I'm not sure. We're just going to play and kind of see where we go. So to make this, I've used her Playful Flowers, and these are the dies. There's all these different little leaves and petals and things, all these fun, whimsical flower layers. We're using this die. We're using these stems, and we're using this center, and we're using these leaves. And you can get these should be out in the stores very soon. I know scrapbook.com says that they are coming in April. Elizabeth Craft Design says everything has shipped from their warehouse, so they should be coming out soon. Then we're also going to use these everyday words. You can see these are great because each die has a shadow image for it, which makes them super easy to work with. Then we're going to use these beautiful flourishes. And let me tell you, these cut like butter. I was a little nervous when I saw how detailed these were, to be perfectly honest with you, because a lot of times dies like this are a nightmare to cut, but it just popped right. It cut through the first time and popped right out, so I'm a happy camper. We're going to be using these lace borders. I've also used these postage stamp dies, but we won't be using those today. I'll share something else with them later. We're going to be using these lace borders. We're going to be using these small doily dies, and I chose this one to work with, and then this part that cuts out the center. And then we're going to be using a whole variety of the stamps. There are 10 different dies in this release, plus 3 stamps. So it's a pretty amazing release. And we're gonna start, I've die cut my pieces already. You can see, look how beautifully these flourishes cut out. They are amazing. And this is the throwback. This is an old piece of text paper that I found in my stash. Will you let me get by with that? So there's these that I've die cut. And then I did hello. And you can see how nicely these layer. And friend. Here's the doily. And again, these cut so clean and pop out so nice. And then I chose this little border to work with. And then I have a whole bunch of other small pieces. So let me get set up to go to work, and I'll be right back. So the first thing I did was cut a 4 1/4 by 6 1/2 inch piece of this Elizabeth Craft soft finish white cardstock. And this is going to be our background. And then I went into my inks and I pulled out these distress inks. I wanted to go with a more muted, sort of shabby chic. I apologize for my grubby old sweater, you guys. It's cold here today. And this is the one I wear when I work because I don't care if it gets messed up. Anyway, I've got old paper, speckled egg, scattered straw, bundled sage, and antique linen. So the first thing we're going to do, and this is so easy, and it's one of my favorites, you're just going to swipe these inks down on your nonstick craft sheet. And I'm using the silicone mat from scrapbook.com. I want to go with a real shabby chic sort of vintage finish on these. And the thing I like about oxide inks is that you can layer them over and over again, and you don't have to worry about your inking getting muddy. So if you're just getting started with inks, I highly recommend these. So this is my mister bottle, and I'm just going to spray this until little beads of color start to pop up. So just like that is perfect. And then I'm going to take my cardstock and lay it down in this beautiful puddle of all these inks. And you can see, look how beautiful when you start picking these up. So I'm going to come over here and then maybe just pick up a little bit more over here. And now I'm going to dry this with my heat gun. And this is what we have. I think I want to pick up a little bit more of this blue. So I'm going to go in for another dip here. Oh yeah, look, beautiful. And I want some more of this yellow. Wow, see what I mean? How you can layer and it doesn't get muddy. The trick is to dry in between layers, which is what I'm going to do again right now. So here's where we are now, and I might just pick up just a little bit more blue in my corners. And I want some more yellow, just because springtime and yellow, really pretty, you guys. I'm loving this. I need a little more color right in here. Okay, and now we can just go in, and where we see dots, we can just lightly tap in and pick up those little dots. So I'm just kind of tapping my paper in. Can you see how it's picking up the little dots? I love that look. All right. All right, so now I'm going to dry again, and then we'll come back. So now I think I want to add some water spots to this, just to kind of give it a little more of a distressed looking background. I mean, this is quite beautiful. So I'm just spraying into my hand, and then remember how you used to flick your brothers and sisters with water when you were doing dishes? Maybe you never did that. I did. So I just flicked that water over there. I'm going to let it set just a second or two. And I'm going to come in with a paper towel and just do this over the top. And this creates beautiful little water spots. So we've got this great mixed media background that we're ready to work with. So I want to create a background, and I've come in with this notebook stamp from Bloom. I've turned it vertically, and I've got my old paper. This is my little cheap Fiskars stamp press, which I love and use all the time. I'm just lining this up with the corner, and I'm pressing down. Now, normally I would not stamp with Distress ink, but Distress Oxide is different. It works with clear stamps, clear acrylic stamps. So, and it gives a very soft, almost watercolor sort of finish, which I'm fond of. So I'm just going to line this up, and I'm going to stamp this way. See how subtle that is? That's exactly what I wanted. And now I'm going to come back in, and I've switched it the other direction. So see how that created a neat grid? So this is made for it to be like a notebook lines, but it actually really works. All right, so let me put this aside. Now I'm going to come in, and this is the honeybee. And I'm going to take out the honeycomb stamp, and I'm going to bring in my scattered straw, and I'm just going to do it like this. I'm just going to press in and then press onto my because this doesn't have to be perfect. This is just kind of a distressed, not really grunge because it's such pretty colors, but we're just getting some layers down. And the great thing about working with distress ink is that you really can build your layers and you don't have to worry too much about how everything's going to play together. So I just spritz with water and then I just press it onto a paper towel to clean it. I'm not overly worried about it being spotless. That's kind of not how I roll. Okay, so now we're going to come in with, this is called Happy, and it's well named because this one really does make me happy. Let's come in with our speckled egg, and let's do this text. This is just a great all over text. So let's go like here, down here. Let's go up here in this corner. Let's get some down here. And let's get some in the middle. And maybe down here along the edge. And up here along the edge. So now I'm going to come in with my fern. Let's go with peeled paint because I really do want this to stand out. See how pretty that is? And that then becomes the image that you notice the most. And it's okay if it's not perfect. That's kind of the beauty of this sort of project, is that you can, it's very forgiving. So I've come in with this sweet little vine and scattered straw. Just going to go in. Actually, I'm just going to do this with my fingers. This will be so much easier. Okay, I think we're good on stamping. I'm going to take a dauber and my speckled egg, and I'm just going to go around these edges to sort of frame this in. Okay, super simple. The last bit of stamping I want to do is these bees from the Honey Bee. And I'm using Archival Black. I think that's good for that one. And then let's just do a couple of this little one. I've got some
there we go.
gold glimmer mist. I'm just going to do a few little spritzes so that there'll be just that tiny little hint of shimmer on there, really pretty. Then this color is called Mountain Mist. These are old. I don't even think you can get these anymore, but you probably have like some Lindy's or something in your stash that will work just as well. It's just some sort of little glimmer mist, or you can even just use paint, but I just want to create some spatters here because they're fun. And it kind of blends everything together. There we go. So I'm just going to hit this with the heat tool, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now we're ready to color our flower petals. And I've done tumbled glass, broken china, speckled egg, tumbled glass, and broken china. And I'm just going to put our petals down in there randomly and let them soak up that ink. Yeah. And then I want to make sure that I get a darker color on the end. And these are just like, they're not perfect. They're just like watercolored. They're so pretty when you do them this way. And you'll see when we get all finished how nice they look. So just keep tapping them, moving them around, pick up a whole bunch of different colors. And then I die cut a few out of the patterned paper, and I want to pick up some ink with those too. And the reason I used regular Distress ink here instead of Distress Oxide is it comes through a little less faded. And this is our focal image, so I wanted it to pop a little bit more, okay? Here's a little trick that I like to use when I'm drawing little pieces like this. Put them in a box, or even if you have an empty roll of packing tape, you can keep the cardboard core and put them in there, and then you're not chasing them all over your craft room. They stay where they're supposed to stay. I'm going to come in with a dauber, and I'm just going to hit these. To add a little, I'm using the tumbled glass along the top. Now bring in your flower center, and you're going to need your adhesive. And I'm just putting adhesive on the bottom of each petal and then going around the center of my flower. I'm going to use my hot glue gun, and I'm going to put just a bit of glue right here and then glue these pinched flowers over the top. And then you can kind of just take a little stylus or something and shape them. Then just for fun, take a few small stamens, put glue on the end, and stick them down inside like that. Now I'm going to put this face down. I'm putting my mats underneath because mine are kind of dirty and I don't want to get that black on my flower. And I'm just going to round out the backs of these. Not a lot, just a little. So I'm just pressing in with a ball stylus until the petals cup a little bit. And then I'm going to come to the front and cup the center. All right. Before I put my button down, I'm going to go, this is just a little brown micro pen. I thought it was brown. It looks black actually, but I'm just like scribbling some little definition lines around the bottom. And this is a boho flower, you know what I mean? This is not like this is a very whimsical collection, so. And then I'm just gonna do some lines around the inside, although I think my button's gonna cover those up, but if you don't have a button, you can just fill this with prills or something, or beads, or whatever you like. And then I'm just going to dot. So I want to position my flower right here so that it doesn't cover up our beautiful bumblebee. And I've stitched my button through the center and added my stem right here. Now I'm going to come in. I'm going to take another stem I'm going to glue it so that it comes out from behind. And I'm going to take my little blossom. I'm going to glue it down right here. See how cute that is? I'm going to take another stem. Another little blossom. Isn't that cute? And then our third blossom going this way. So I've inked this up. I'm going to go right along here. And I die cut this out of both a dark gray and the text paper. And I want to center this so it's about the same on each side. Okay, just like that. I'm going to wrap it around to the back. Nice. I'm not going to ink our little sentiments up at all. I'm just going to put them along the border. Okay. Now I've got this beautiful bee charm. And I'm using my Art Institute Dries Clear adhesive. Around the edges. And then I'm going to fill the center with my hot glue. And I'm going to put it right here. Okay. And that will set up and then it will be perfect. And I brought in some waxed thread. I'm going to wrap this around the top. I've added my little bee to the top and now I just want to add some paint spatters. So I've diluted ivory chalk paint and I've got my ratty old, to me the worse the paintbrush is, the better this technique seems to work. I just added some sequins and pearls, and that is what I have for you today, my friends. This little mixed media piece using Annette Green's latest release from Elizabeth Craft Design. It's called Everything's Blooming, and I just I just love it. It's just as cute as it can be. I might turn this into a card front or a journal front. Not sure what I'm going to do with it right now, but I'm going to enjoy it for the moment. Thanks for joining me, guys. That's it for me, Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design. I'm going to wash my hands and go get my craft done. Bye.